a Harness Racing Australia game for all, where you get to do all the driving. Fantasy Harness Racing, live across Australia on SEN Track.
Welcome everybody to Fantasy Harness Racing Show. Toby McKinnon is my name. I'm joined by Amanda Rando. Get involved live 0499 736 736. We're back. We're live. We're both in the studio. It feels like it's been forever. How are you, Amanda?
Well, it does feel like it's been forever. Yeah, round 8, here we are. I can't believe it. We're really in the thick of things now, and an interesting round we've got coming up.
Very interesting. There's a lot of dynamics going on. Feels like there's not many double point races. We've lost a few, but there's some strategic plays. I've identified some value, so I'm pretty keen to share that value. I've got a text message hanging with my great mate James Herbertson. He hasn't got back to me.
Ooh.
He's not driving Thursday and Friday night, which it rules him out as captaincy. There's a lot going on, so hopefully by the end of this show we're going to know a lot more.
Yeah, has he got time, or where is he, Herbie?
Oh, he may have stayed in Tassie. I should check the results, but he hasn't got time.
Yeah, okay.
He hasn't got time to send a message back.
Yeah, well,
evidently.
obviously, yeah. He's keeping something up his sleeve. Maybe he doesn't like talking to you, Toby.
Oh, there's without a doubt that's the case, but he has to put up with me. So he does respond sometimes. Come on, Herb, let us know what's going on. There's a lot of people riding on this. We're going to meet GRMC, who's currently 4th, and it's just another one of these great stories. Lives on the peripheral of harness racing's got engaged in the game. Now on a Saturday afternoon, while he's having a bet on the gallops, he's checking all the prices for that night, and he's shattered because Jack Callaghan's not driving this, and he's looking at Port Pirie trots. And
yeah, no, that's I can't wait to have a chat with him and find out a little bit more.
We're craving to meet GRMC, who works night shift, and he's promised he'll set his alarm and get up for us. So, great. It's going to be great to meet another one of our players, GRMC, who's currently 4th overall. And a guy, I don't know if you know this guy, David Miles.
David Miles.
Yeah.
I do.
He's a has-been, but he's still kicking.
He's still kicking. Just.
He's a great man. I rang him yesterday and, he's just so, he's got energy, hasn't he, the guy?
Yeah, he does. He does. And he doesn't stop. And, he's got quite a few drives over the next few days as well. He's picked up his drives too. So I think he had a little bit of a back issue and he's got that all ironed out. So
right.
He's back. He's back in the gig.
266K he's worth at the moment, David Miles. And if you're just looking into it now, just chuck him in, have a look. He had 8 horses trial at Geelong on Monday night. So he's going to have a lot more drives over the next month or two. So he's a definite trade someone out and bring someone in if you want to, and bring him in for a bit of a cash cow. We're going to use David Miles as a cash cow. No one's ever said that, have they?
No.
Now, there's a little bit going on. So Gloucester Park, the Pro Chevalier Classic fell over, not enough noms.
Yeah.
So no double point race there. Albion Park, the Jim McNeil's not on, so it's not a double point race. We've only got the hour over and over trot. I don't know how he's going to say that or how he used to say it in a race, but anyway. Melton's got the Something About Maori and the Melton Plate, but the Ian Duff Memorial's not on, so it's just 2 in Victoria and 2 in Tassie, the Tassie Cup and George Johnson. So when we look at captains, etc., for big double point races, it's hard. It's almost not worth factoring them in.
Not really, unless you've got, like, for me, at Hobart on Saturday, I'm looking at a driver that's got a drive in both of those features to add in. So I think if they've got multiple drives.
Who's that? Who are you looking
Ricky Duggan.
Ooh.
So he's actually driving David Miles's horse in the Cup, in the Tassie Cup. Arg. Stepping away from one, and he's had 2 standing start races down there in his last 2 starts, and he stepped away quite well last start. But yeah, Ricky, he's got about 8 drives across the whole card as well, and in those 2 feature races, and he's 900 and 10,000.
Yeah, so he's a great trade up from a Tiana Ford or a Jordan Shibnall or someone like that.
Yeah, that's where my mind's going with him. So, I think if the value is if you can get drivers that have a lot of drives and are driving in those key feature races.
Well, Danny Roberts, right? Stewie McDonald, who my brother gave me grief for, has gone from 300 up to 900. He's out this week for me, and I can get Danny Roberts, who's got 4 or 5 genuine winning chances. She might drive 4 or 5 winners on Friday night for 1.1 million.
Yeah. See, I had Danny originally in my team, and I had to trade her out, and I'm scared to put her back in.
I would stick her back in this week. She's a great swap. So I've done really well there. I started with, and this is one of the keys to playing the game. I started with one of the Harpers at 200, traded down from their 400 down to Stewie McDonald and made some money.
I can't believe he started that cheap, Stewie.
No, he dropped down over time.
Yeah.
So I got him at the right time at rock bottom. He's gone back to where he should be, about 900,000, and now I can trade him out for Danny Roberts. Sorry, Stewie. I'm sorry. You've been good to me. It's been solid. We've had a great relationship.
But it's complicated.
But I think Danny's going to go nuts on Friday night. She's almost captain worthy. That's where I'm at.
Wow.
She won't. Nathan Dawson will be my captain. He's going to score 100. But Danny could score 70.
Yeah, right.
I reckon.
Yeah. See, I'm trying to say, I traded out
there.
Luke McCarthy last week, so I'm pretty keen to bring him back into the fold too.
And is that because Friday night's not Newcastle, it's Bathurst, and then next week, Bathurst Saturday night as well, and there'll be lots of double point races.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so he's got some drives in across the Gold Crown heats and the Gold Crown Carnival heats. And obviously Saturday night he's got a really strong book of drives at Menangle, including Don Hugo.
Yes.
The Don.
I've traded him out as well. Might have to see if I can make 3 trades this week. Come on, Paul. We say it every week, don't we?
Yeah, I know.
The other important thing to note, Kilmore and Ballarat, they swapped those meetings around, HRV. So if you're looking at the game guidelines, it is Kilmore this week. It'll say Ballarat, but effectively, whatever the Thursday night meeting in Victoria, it's in. Mm-hmm. Let's get a breakaway. We'll set the alarm clock, and on the other side, it will be Mr. GRMC.
A harness racing Australia game for all, where you get to do all the driving. Fantasy Harness Racing, live across Australia on SEN Track.
Grant, welcome to Harness Fantasy Show, the Fantasy Harness Racing Show. How are you, mate?
Good, Toby. Good to be with you, mate.
Now, I'll let you explain why the alarm clock for the intro.
Mate, I've only been up about 45 minutes. I work night shift, so finished about 2:45 this morning and home for a nap. And usually I'd probably still be asleep now, but spoke with you yesterday about coming on the show, so I've set the alarm to make sure I'm up and ready to go.
Amanda Rando here. Thank you for waking up just for our show. We appreciate it.
Yes.
And we're going to pick your brains because you're running fourth in the competition, 5,210 points, and I need every bit of advice I can get.
Yeah, we've got a lunch on this.
Yeah, I've got a big bet going on here with Toby, so I need to beat him, and he keeps beating me. So any insight you can give me, I'll be happy to take.
Yeah, I reckon it's about to start getting a bit more tricky, unfortunately, Amanda. It's been pretty straightforward, I reckon, the first few weeks. I started off with most of the ultimate drivers just because I thought that was going to be a huge week in week 4, so I didn't want to be using trades to get those drivers in, so I started with those and, haven't really... I don't think I've used a trade yet in WA, South Australia or Tassie, but that might have to change this week, I think. I picked the drivers there and just sort of stuck with them. I thought there was other places I had to make trades each week, and most of them have been pretty good to me so far, but Dylan Edgerton Green's probably going to have to make way this week. This is the third week in a row that he hasn't had a drive, so Danny Roberts might be the move there, I think.
Ooh.
Yeah, he's following my lead.
Yeah, except he's loyal. He's stuck with his team solid. Where you chop and change.
Oh, no, I've chopped and changed a fair bit in Queensland, New South Wales and Victoria, that's for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, there's been a few drivers that have been in and out depending on different circumstances there, but I just haven't mucked around too much with Western Australia, South Australia or Tassie as yet.
Yeah.
When it comes to Grant's, though, I stick solid the whole way. Grant Dixon and I've had him the whole time. Have you had Grant the whole time, Grant?
I haven't had him the whole time,
Yeah,
but once I jumped on the week after. No, I jumped on, the Ultimate Drivers Week because he had leaped to fame in the Newcastle Mile. So I thought he was an ideal fourth Queensland driver for that week. Yeah, and I've stuck with him since then.
Smart.
Yeah. Well, I've still got him in my team, and we see Leap to Fame go around at Albion Park this Saturday night.
Who have you got in Queensland? Everyone traded one of the Queenslanders out when the floods were in place or the cyclone came. What happened there, mate, for you?
Yeah, so I started in Queensland with Pete McMullen, Nathan Dawson, Angus Garrard, and I think Matty Elkins I had to start with. But then after the Ultimate Drivers, I traded Matty Elkins to Grant Dixon. And then during the cyclone week when they weren't going to be driving, I wanted to trade Angus Garrard down just to make some money. And I was going to trade him to Shane Graham, and then got a funky idea that I'd trade him to Adam Sanderson instead because he had the one drive at Menangle,
I did the same.
the triple point race, and didn't end up driving it. So as it turned out, I didn't actually have anyone in that slot where I thought I might have a sneaky 30 points that week. So that was unfortunate.
It was all right for me. Did you have Luke McCarthy, though? Because he ended up taking that
Yeah,
drive.
I did have Luke, yeah. So he ended up taking the drive, but I don't think there would have been too many without Luke that week.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. So what's your background? Your name is Grant Craven, so we assume that you live in Terang, you're part of the Craven dynasty and et cetera, mate?
Yeah, I've got that a bit over the years, but that's not actually the case. No relation to the Cravens from the harness racing world, but I do keep a bit of an eye on Matty's horses and watch how they're going, but just purely from the name, no relation whatsoever there. But yeah, my background is virtually just as a fan from a young age and going to Moonee Valley in the 90s with Dad, and I've just sort of always followed the trots ever since.
Have you ever owned any, or?
No, I've never had any direct involvement apart from having a bit of a flutter now and again and just keeping an eye on what's going on, yeah.
So have you had, over the years, a favourite driver or favourite horse?
Favourite horse is pretty easy, but it goes back away to Sinbad Bay.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Sinbad Bay, Shaker Maker, Night Pistol. That's sort of my...
The golden era.
Yeah, that's my era of being introduced to the trots. And Gavin Lang was always a driver that I loved as a kid.
Yeah.
Probably Greg Sugars nowadays, yeah.
Oof, Greg would be happy with that, I reckon, to replace Gavin Lang.
Yeah.
It's pretty good shoes to fill, isn't it?
So did you compete in the fantasy driving...
Fantasy harness racing.
Fantasy harness racing. I butcher it all the time, don't I? The fantasy harness racing the last 2 years?
No, I haven't. No, I was only alerted to the competition this year by Dad, and I thought, that's something that I'll have a go at because we sort of play fantasy in a lot of other sports, AFL and NRL and even American sports from time to time. So fantasy is something that I'm pretty familiar with, and when I heard there was a fantasy game revolving around harness drivers, I thought that'd be something that I'd love to get into.
And no doubt this has increased your engagement with the sport.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like I was, was watching the races at Mount Gambier the other week, and like you say, Port Pirie. It's a while since I've tuned in to watch races at Mount Gambier and Port Pirie, that's for sure.
It does do that too. You were saying yesterday that on a Saturday afternoon you're checking the prices of all the drives you got. Has it forced you into having a bet on one or two as well?
Well, yeah. Generally speaking, what I'll do is on a Saturday afternoon before the main meetings, I'll just have a bit of a look and have a look at who's actually driving what, because it can be sometimes hard to get a handle on until the day of. So then I sort of just have a look through what my better drives might be, and you're right, Toby. That sometimes does involve a multi or a few quinellas here and there.
Well, that's great news, because that's what we want: more engagement and more investment in the sport. And Matty Craven, no doubt, listens to this, and I think he might play Matty Craven along with the game. They're allowed to play, aren't they?
They're allowed to play, but they're not allowed to get prizes.
Anything. Yeah. And I reckon Matty would find a 1% share in a horse for you, Grant.
Yeah, well, if that'd be the case, I'd be more than interested. Yeah, like I said, I've always sort of followed Matty's stable because I've had a lot of people ask me over the years if I am related, and so it's someone to always keep an eye on, even though there's not actually a relationship there.
Yeah, well, you might get mates rates or something, given you might have some bloodlines crossed over.
Just tell him you're his brother. He won't know.
Long lost cousin.
It's just, just talk about Pete and Dad Pete, and Pete's me dad, and you'll be right, mate.
Sounds like a plan.
Now, captain this week, have you gone that far?
Not really. I've sort of waited most weeks until Thursday morning to make a decision on captain and trades, but most weeks the default position has been Nathan Dawson and sort of work from there. There he goes.
Sorry, mate. I'm all Nathan this week. Let me tell you.
Yeah. Just the fact that he drives and has a good amount of drives at all three meetings in Queensland lends itself to him being the pick, unless something else sort of jumps off the page with triple point races like it has with Cameron Hart a few times. But, I'd say probably Nathan Dawson again this week.
And vice captain?
Should get 1.5 points or something.
Well, virtually as soon as the first at Redcliffe's running one on a Thursday and Nathan Dawson's in it, your vice captain's null and void, aren't they?
Yeah, pretty much. Don't mind 1.5 points for your vicey.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea, actually. 1.5 for the vice captain.
Or something. Anyway, we'll take that offline.
Yeah.
Don't think it'll happen this year.
No, can't now.
Mate, great to meet you. It really is. And we just love the fact that people like yourself from, I suppose it'd be fair to say, the periphery of harness racing, getting involved in the game, having lots of fun. And I reckon there's a fair chance if you get that trip to the Eureka, we may be able to have a beer together.
Yeah, that'd be great, mate. That's the plan, to get up there for the Eureka and meet a few other people and have a drink together.
Perfect.
Too right. Very good. Good on you, Grant. I'll let you get back to bed if you need some more sleep.
No worries. Thanks, Toby. Thanks, Amanda.
See ya.
There's Grant Craven, and I know we're having some fun with Matty and Pete and that, but geez, he sounds like he could be one of them. What a great bloke.
Yeah, definitely. No, that was a great chat. And you mentioned Matty Craven. He's really good at selling those 1%, 2% shares in horses and just getting people involved. I think that's his hashtag, isn't it? Get involved. Yeah.
Get involved. Hashtag get involved.
It's a great way to get your foot in the door in ownership.
Yeah, it certainly is. At that low end too. And whether you got 1% or 1,000% in a horse, it's just still your horse. Doesn't matter.
Exactly.
Let's get some news in. We're going to be a little bit early because David Miles can talk the leg off a chair.
A harness racing Australia game for all, where you get to do all the driving. Fantasy Harness Racing, live across Australia on SEN Track.
I don't want to wait for our lives to be over. I want to know right now, will it be?
He's got it. Welcome back, Fantasy Harness Racing Show. He has to be captain this week, Nathan Dawson. Herbie's not driving Thursday, Friday night, and he's been coy on text messages, so we'll get to the bottom of that eventually. He's going down to Tassie Saturday night. Puppet's got a lot of drives, 18 drives, a few winning chances. Nathan Dawson's got 22 drives, plenty of winning chances. Papa's got Queen Elida, who's a great chance in a double point race. For me, it's out of those two, but it's really Nathan.
Yeah, you got to take power in numbers, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Redcliffe odds are out. I wish those odds would be all done by a Thursday, tomorrow, because I just don't know the form up there as good. Here, he's messaging me now. What's he saying? Friday, Saturday. Bathurst. Oh, he's going to Bathurst Friday, Herbie. And Tassie Saturday. No drives Thursday night. That's incredible. So he's going to Bathurst Friday night, which may be some Emma Stewart. So that changed. Thank you, James. 1, 2, 3. 3 drives for Emma Stewart. Ah, bang.
In the Gold Crown, heats of the Gold Crown.
Well, that brings him back into the equation. I might have to just go through. If all 3 of those won, he picked up 30 and he goes to Tassie and he's a punk rocker, lost a shoe and just didn't pace quite that well in the heat. I think we'll see a different he's a punk rocker. He gave up a full book at Charlton to go down and drive it in the heat. Herbie can score 50 to 70 and sorry, James. I'm still Dawson.
But you're going to keep him in your team?
Oh, keeping him in the team. Yeah, no, I'm not trading
I thought you
him
were
out.
really
No,
giving him the flick. Okay.
No.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So Herbie, he's gone down. Now Nathan Dawson's the most expensive player.
Oof. Did you hear that, James, if you're listening? He's a competitive beast.
Yeah, so you got some work to do.
Now, this David Miles, we'll get an early commitment away so we can spend as long as we can with David and we'll have a bit of fun, no doubt. If you know David well, you'll know what he's like and God knows what he'll call me on the other side and Amanda as well.
A harness racing Australia game for all, where you get to do all the driving. Fantasy Harness Racing, live across Australia on SEN Track.
100 miles an hour would walk 500 more. If there be a man who walks 1,000 miles to fall down at you too.
Give me some points. Give me some points. Stop making mistakes. Stop making mistakes. Welcome back to Fantasy Harness Racing. Strap yourself in, live from Sunbury's Squires Loft, David Miles.
I love that intro, Joe. Love that intro. That's very good.
Hello, Mr. Miles.
Hello, Ms. Rando.
Now, you two got to play nicely because there's enough dirt on each other that you can bury each other. So I think maybe just both play nicely and just hit them softly over the net towards each other.
No. I'll play nicely because Amanda's my favourite Rando.
Oh, there you go. That's big.
The other Rando in the sport's a little bit questionable.
Oh, wow. Wow. Yeah, you don't have to know anything about fantasy harness racing. What I'll tell you, David, is your value as a driver has dropped as you've had a bit of a quiet period, but you had 8 horses trial at Geelong on Monday night, and I think over the next month or so you're going to be a bit busier, mate.
Yes, yeah. We had a lot of horses come back in straight after Christmas, and hence they're all about to start hitting the track over the next 2 or 3 weeks.
And rocking with attitude, she's one of those?
Yeah, she should be. She's had a couple of trials on the way back now. Just not quite sure. We didn't quite get her up in time for the Something About Mary this week. And now the next major race is probably not until early May, which is the mile race at Menangle. So not quite sure where she heads to. We might just give her a little freshen up. She's had quite a tough prep coming up. I don't think you'll see her for a couple of weeks at the races at least, but we're looking forward to a Sydney and Queensland Carnival in the middle of the year.
Yeah, did you want to talk a bit about her preparation this time in? Because it didn't start as planned.
No, it didn't. No, she had to have throat surgery. She had what they call an epiglottic entrapment, which they tell me if they're going to have throat surgery, that's the best one to have. And she seems to have gotten through that quite fine. We were planning on trying to have her up for the Something About Mary and then try to get to Cambridge for that race in New Zealand, but unfortunately the setback just put us a couple of weeks behind, and with plenty of travel on later in the year, obviously with Queensland, which is the right place to be in winter. And the Menangle race, we've just decided to take stock a little bit and see where we head to now.
Have you got a winner for us Friday night at Geelong amongst these few first uppers? Rocking with style, mate?
We've got all of those horses have trialled quite okay, and they're going to win their share of races. There's just quite a few awkward draws this week, and some nice horses have drawn inside us, so it probably makes it hard. But I would have thought Rockin' with Style, which is the younger big brother of Rockin' with Attitude, he's probably our best chance. He trialled good. He's got plenty of raw ability. He's a big, leggy, tall, used-to-me fella that is going to be better in another 12 months' time, but he's got enough ability to be ticking off his maiden pretty quickly, I would think.
Text off the text line from Jason. How's ARG going to go in Tassie?
Poor old ARG hasn't handled the travel down there, and I know who Jason is. He knows exactly how ARG's going to go this week because, he texts me about 14 times a day to see if he's all right. He has. We've had a few little hiccups with him down there, but he's in the right hands. Claire McDonald's looking after him for us down there, and if all goes well, he's drawn the right alley, and we can just fix a couple of little things up that's gone wrong. I think he can definitely run in the top four Saturday night.
I thought he stepped away from the tapes quite well last start.
He did, yeah. He's been his first ever stands. He's had 120 starts or something, and first time he'd ever seen the strands. But we had a little bit of trouble with travel the first week. The track got cancelled on us, and he travelled far too close to the race. And we just poked him around thinking that he would be okay, and didn't go that great. And then looks like he's picked up a little bit of a bug going into the second race. He wasn't quite as good, but as long as his blood test comes back good on Thursday, we'll press ahead. And he's good enough to keep up in that class. We've just got to turn him around pretty quickly.
All right, and then Saturday night, Melton, we've got One Drive.
Yeah, we've got what people in the industry know her as Naughty Morty. She was born on Friday the 13th, so she's called Morticia. And, she should be in the Addams family. She's fair income. She gives me headaches, this girl. More headaches than an afternoon on the wine with you, Amanda. But she, if she behaves Saturday night, even though she's drawn 12 over the 1,700, she's the best horse in the race, and if she runs in a straight line, she'll be awful hard to beat. Yeah,
well, last prep, she, coming off the Vic Oaks, and she's come back and trialled okay this time in.
Yeah, she seems good, but I'm not counting me chickens. She has a tendency race night to really make me work for it, but when she's good, she's very good. Her performances in Queensland over the winter were just first rate, but she came back home and she doesn't really like being in the field. She's very antisocial. She likes to do her own thing. And from barrier 12 over the short, it's not going to be an easy task first up, but she's definitely the best horse in the race. So the trainer's saying the driver's going to get everything right, but the driver says the trainer should train her better. And
that's very confusing,
I have those conversations in my head. I know. Yeah, wonder why I'm losing my hair.
You're not the only one. Well, they've marked you HRV. Their prices are up, and you're $3.20 by there. They think your horse is the one to win. Yeah, I think she's the best horse in the race, and watching a couple of these races at Melton now where they've increased the field sizes over the short, strangely enough, those horses drawn 11 and 12 in those mile races. A couple of them have actually won. I think it was Fox Dan won there a couple of weeks ago from barrier 13 over the short. So it's doable, and she's got the talent, whether she decides to let me put her where I need to put her. All right. Well, just trying to think, down the track with this fantasy harness racing game. At the moment, you're worth $266,000.
Rock bottom, nearly.
Yeah. So, but it's about building up, and you're planning to go to Queensland. The last round is the Inter-Dominion finals.
Yeah, he'll be
Queensland.
There. He'll have.
So, are you planning?
Attitude in it.
Yeah. Are you planning to take a team up, or are you just going to take your one girl?
No. Planning on taking a team. It'll just depend on who. I'm hoping Rockin' with Attitude goes. I did have good hopes for a horse called Tulane and Lofty. He was a little bit disappointing last night at Shep, but he's shown us signs at home that he could step up to Group 1 class. But he was a little disappointing last night, so we're back to the drawing board with him. But even those horses that are in Friday night, over the next month, I think they'll be ticking off those easy races over the next 4 to 8 weeks. We've probably got 8 or 10 of those sort of horses that should be picking off maidens or class ones or up to 55s, even up to 60s. So we're going to be fairly busy, which, obviously will interfere with my golf time and my charcuterie board and red wine time, which is not ideal. But
and your steak time, don't forget that.
Yeah. I think the staff at Squires will be happy not to see my face because I'm there quite often. But,
Particularly the kid behind the bar.
Oh, now, don't get me started about giving people headaches. Gee whiz, Yeah, I think sometimes he serves me mocktails and doesn't put any alcohol in it.
What a good boy.
Yeah, so he should, and charges him double. Perfect.
Depends if he wants to borrow money off his dad or not. I think then he probably gives me double.
Now, tell me, you're going to nominate all these horses over the coming weeks, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, aren't you? Just forget about Monday. Sunday to Wednesday's no good, mate. You just want to race them Thursday, Friday, Saturday. The reason being, they're the only nights the points count. So winning on a Tuesday night's going to be no good to me, right? So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Milesy.
Right, good as gold. Well, that'll depend on when Hawthorn's playing, Tobe, because we're off to see Hawthorn give Carlton a licking tomorrow night. So we try not to race on Hawthorn nights, but it was last week. It was good. We got out of going to Melton on Friday night to stay home and watch the Hawks beat Essendon. That was good. But I'll keep that in mind just for you, Toby.
Thank you, David. That's it for me.
I think I'll leave it there as well.
Yeah, you can get back to...
come on.
We could go for hours, Milesy, but we won't do that.
I have been told that when I'm on air, the mute button is, or the dump button is at the ready, No.
Like, you're going to have no issues with vampires, I know that, mate, with the amount of steaks you're eating.
Yeah, well, when you're on a good thing, you stick to it. Isn't that right, Toad?
Oh, I must admit, mate, you can only imagine Gembrook to Sunbury's a fair drive, but it was certainly well worth it. And the boy Mitch, he absolutely loved it. He's only asked me every second day, when do we go see Armid again? When do we go see Armid again? And in all seriousness, how good have they done the place with all the black and everything? Jeez, it's as neat as a pin, Milesy.
Oh, well, I think somebody in there with a keen eye went through that restaurant and, she goes all right on radio too. I think she might have had a bit of help in the design.
Yeah, the owner needs all the help he can get. So.
Oh, isn't that the truth?
Rightio, let's take this off air. Milesy, best luck over the weekend, mate, and best luck over the coming months. You're in my team, so I'll be cheering for every drive you have. Thanks, guys. You have a great day.
Thanks, Milesy.
There's David Miles, always great fun, and I think people might have worked out that you and Milesy might be friends as well. Yeah. Amanda. I wouldn't admit to it personally. I can't believe I got through.
I'm not admitting anything.
Through that whole show, a whole segment. He didn't call me Wombat. He didn't call me Chopperee. Yeah. He's got some other random name he calls me as well. He didn't get any of them out somehow. So I've done well.
You've done very well.
A break. We'll come back. We've got a very interesting text message here about Mark Pitt as captain.
A harness racing Australia game for all, where you get to do all the driving. Fantasy Harness Racing, live across Australia on SEN Track.
Welcome back to Fantasy Harness Racing. We've got a wonderful text here from 570, and we're going to call it some collective works.
Yeah.
He'll know. He's listening. James, as in Herbertson, is listed to drive 7 at Melton on Saturday. Mark Pitt has 11 drives so far this week. 7 are Emma Stewart trained favourites, including 2 odds on in 2 double point races. If he picks up any of James' drives, he should score well over 100 points. Food for thought. I don't know if he'll pick up any of James's drives because they're like for Ash at Melton. They're for Ash Herbertson, Scotty Ewan, who Mark Pitt doesn't normally drive for. But tell you what, he's going to score 80 or 90, Mark Pitt. So the big players in this competition, right up the pointy end, nearly have to get him. 1.8 million, you said.
Yeah, 1.8 million. So it's a bit not as easy. Easier said than done. Is that the saying? Yeah, easier said.
It's easier said than done.
So at that price tag.
Yeah.
Because then, you know, who do you sacrifice?
Yeah, so at that price tag, you're not taking Puppet out. Greg Sugars, maybe, if you've got Greg Sugars, you don't have.
I don't have.
You can't trade Herb out.
No, you
because
can't
he's
trade
going to get good points at Bathurst.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's back to the drawing board with my two trades. So my trades this week were Taylor Ewell for David Miles.
Yeah.
And I was putting Moran on the bench just in case he comes back with one of those weeks where he's got a heap of drives.
I think he's going around Bathurst Gold Crown Carnival too.
One drive for Russell
Yeah.
Jack. He needs 8 drives or something like
Yeah.
that. He's got to, anyway, people should be using him. He's a great driver. There's some self-interest in that.
Yeah.
So I've got him in my team. He's one of my points of differences. And my other one, of course, is Stewie McDonald for Danny Roberts. She's a must.
Yeah, I've got to figure out what I'm going to do because I swapped out Luke McCarthy last week and I really want him back in for this week. And then I don't know what I'm going to do next, if I tinker with my Vic team or focus on what's that.
Big fella says, why are people texting to put Mark Pitt in? You have to keep this stuff secret, please. But he's obviously just...
Well, he said food for thought. So he didn't
said
say
food
he's
for
going to
thought.
do it. Just an idea.
I reckon he'd like a bit of Campbell's soup.
Maybe.
570. He'll be scratching his head now. Yeah. Thinking, these two know this stuff. And another text in from Mitch. Hey, big dog. Top place is Squire's Loft from the fantasy table. I think I know who Mitch is. G'day, Mitch. He's a bit crook at home, Mitch.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh,
We
I
need to
hope you
some
get better.
protein into him.
Bit of protein. Yeah, we can sort you out there.
Maybe not quite the David Miles steak and wine diet for young Mitch, but it was pretty. He's the note he put on the napkin you put up on socials.
Yes, it's up on socials. Best review Squire's Loft in Sunbury have had yet. So, no, I hope you get feeling better, Mitch. And, when you're ready for some more steak, you know where to go.
Yeah. There's some gratuitous promotion in this there by us, but it's all part of the fun of it. We went there as a fantasy table. We had a few players.
Dan Malecki's been there.
Oh, I have no doubt.
Yes, he's been there. We've had a few prominent harness racing figures
And me.
there. And you, yes. Yes.
Very good. Well, I reckon I'm about 100 ahead of you, so that's all I'm worried about, to be honest. So, I've got you at the moment.
You've got me at the moment.
It's going to be another interesting week. Good luck with your trades. Whatever you do this week, you're going to feel like at some stage there's someone you've missed trading in, I reckon, between Danny Roberts, Mark Pitt, Luke McCarthy, Chris Elford. Good luck for the weekends around fantasy harness racing.
Yeah. Good luck.
And good luck on the punt. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll be back next week. More fun, the Fantasy Harness Racing Show. If you can't get it live, you'll be able to get it off the podcast.